Charlotte, welcome to the cave. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Exciting times. The listeners, the viewers of this interview can see you soon on Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies, April 6th, Paramount Plus. I was on the press junket last week with the whole cast. Everybody's very excited about the series.
Yeah, everyone included. Everyone's getting ready to watch, audience, family members. Yeah.
So we'll jump into the series in a few minutes and everything. But I was doing some research on you. You've been all over the place with dancing and acting and modeling. What made you jump into the industry?
I started dancing. I think I was 3 years old. I started in ballet classes and kind of just did it recreationally, kind of hopped around as a kid doing, soccer, piano, all the different things. But I remember seeing this one group as a little kid. I think I was 8 or 9, and they were like this competitive dance group, and they were so good. And I just said to my mom, I was like, I have to do that. I want to be that good. And she's like, okay, let's make it happen. And I auditioned. And so I grew up doing competitive dance and performing in all different types of styles. And I always gravitated to the stage dances, which are very acting, performance based
Yeah.
numbers. So doing that. And then when I was 15, I wanted to get into modeling, looked around at some of the agencies in Vancouver and got signed. And from there, I started doing some commercial auditions, not really, still not acting at all.
Mm.
I never thought I would be an actor. That was never a thought. For me, I was like, I want to be a dancer and a model. I want to go on tour. It's like Justin Timberlake and do all that kind of stuff. And so then I started modeling, and that was really great. I got to go to Thailand, had a lot of experience, like real world experience at like
Yeah.
15 years old. And then when I was out of high school, that's when I got signed with my dance agent. And she was the one that was like, look, you've got a good look. You should get into some acting classes. And I was really resistant to that. But as soon as I did it, it was like, okay, yeah, this is what I was supposed to be doing this whole time. Um, and yeah, the rest is history. I mean, I've been auditioning for a long time, and now I'm here.
That's awesome. What's the goal now? You've you said modeling, dancing, singing. What's next now that you want to hit on that bucket list of yours?
I think I'm interested in writing. And me and my friend, we have this idea, we've been talking about it. And so that's something I want to start exploring as well. Obviously, still doing all the other things at the same time. Also, I mean, I've done the dance world, still always going to be a dancer. And I'm still fairly new into the acting world as well. So I feel like I still have a lot to learn, but I don't know. I just always love learning new skills. So I think writing is something I'm creeping into.
Mm. So what do you consider like right now like your biggest strength as an actor, and how do you work to like make your craft even better?
I think my biggest strength is, I mean, I've always just been so willing to just like go all out, even when I was, doing those stage numbers as a kid and performance, like I just do the wackiest numbers, and I never felt embarrassed. And
Mm.
so I think that's something that, a lot of actors, it's like the problem is that they just don't go all the way. And it's so much easier to pull back than to like keep pushing forward. And something I just want to keep, to help my craft is, I don't know, just like still exploring the world and watching shows that I don't usually watch and just kind of expand the genres that I'm interested in.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
How did you transition like performing like pretty much on a stage dancing to now into TV and film?
The camera's scary. The camera is and it's quiet, when you have an audience, they're giving you a live reaction, so you know exactly how they're feeling, whereas the camera, it's just staring you down the barrel. Yeah, but I do feel like modeling did kind of help with that though, just kind of like, I mean, it's taking photos, and or sometimes we did video-based modeling, but I think just kind of getting comfortable with the camera and just like treating it as if that is the audience and that's someone that is looking at you and not just this
Mm.
like big scary piece of equipment.
I can
Um,
see that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
So let's jump into Greece. Greece, Rise of the Pink Ladies. I mentioned April 6th, Paramount Plus. We see you as Rosemary. How were you approached now for this series? Tell us about your audition.
So the audition, I auditioned for a few roles.
Okay.
There's a lot of roles in the show. It's a huge
Yeah.
cast. And I think everyone kind of was in the same boat. Everyone auditioned for a lot of different things. I was always put up for being a soc though. I guess I have the look. I don't know. And so I sent in my audition tape and my singing tape and my dance tape. Um, and it's funny though, because I saw the open call casting for it, and I just was like, I don't know if I can still play 16, but I called my agent and I was like, I have to be on the show. Please let me audition for it. She's like, we're already on it. Don't worry. And so I sent in my audition and I got, the casting director picked me to send through. That was crazy because I also knew how big this show was and
Mm.
how many people were auditioning for it. So I think that every time I got a step closer was just such a huge win. Um, and so, yeah, I did the callback originally for Susan.
Okay.
And then, so I did that. And then I just sent in another dance audition. And then I did another one in person. And then the end of that day, they were like, we want to see you for Rosemary. And I'm like, who's Rosemary? I don't know who Rosemary is. So, but then I looked at the sides and I was like, oh, I love Rosemary. She is a character. She is quite wild.
Yeah.
And it's just she's like a little bit more of a, she's like an extreme Susan pretty much. And I thought it'd be really fun to audition her. And so I did that and I did straight to director callback Zoom session. And I think it was like 2, 3 weeks after I found out I got it. And
Wow.
then a few weeks after that, we were on set. So
So really easy.
yeah.
Any pressure like trying to be in a series like this, pretty much taking place, it's a prequel to the original Grease, so it takes 4 years before that. Any like pressure trying to jump in a series like this?
Oh, definitely. I think that everyone on the show understands the responsibility and the weight of doing a prequel to Grease. People feel very protective about the Grease world, which I totally understand. And they want to make sure we're doing it right. And I think we all going into set every day made sure we knew that and made sure we were really just hailing to the original Grease. And we're not trying to take anything away. If anything, we're just trying to add to it. And I think people are going to really love to know how the Pinks started because
Mm.
they're so iconic in the movie. And you don't really get to learn too much about how that started. So,
Right. Did you go after you booked the role? Did you go back to watch the movies?
oh, yeah, I watched the movie so much throughout the whole audition process. Every night before I had another Zoom callback, I had this like big projector and I'd play it on my wall and I watched it just to make sure I had the tone right
Mm.
because the tone of Grease it's campy, but it's still really grounded. So it's
Yeah.
like kind of a weird place in the middle to live. And yeah, so yeah, I watched it a lot. But I didn't watch Grease 2 until recently. And that is such an interesting movie.
Big difference.
Big difference. Big difference. Just as entertaining though. Yeah.
So after you were given the role of Rosemary, what was the description you were given for her?
Description for Rosemary was at first it was that she was the gossip.
Mm.
And but it was funny though, because when we started it, I was like, oh, I feel like she's not really the gossip. And I talked to Alethea and Annabelle about Rosemary, and pretty much they said, we wanted a role for you. We didn't know where to put you. There was another character called Linda that sorry, there's something loud outside. There was another role called Linda that I also auditioned for. And they're like, we pretty much just like got rid of Linda or combined her and created this new character. So we can kind of do something new or
Mm.
something different for Rosemary, which was like, wow, thank you. That's so nice. So she's very catty. She's Susan's second girl. She's the number two in the social hierarchy. She keeps the other girls in check. And she's a bit, I mean, she's a bully. She's a bit of a mean girl.
I was just gonna
But
say that.
yeah, she's like a true classic high school mean girl. And so which was, I mean, it's fun to play, it's fun to put that on a hot second and turn it off when the cameras are
How
off.
did you approach to play this character? Like, what did you like? Was there certain things you like try to aim for?
I think that I just like I really wanted to make sure like Rosemary stood out on her own, because it is such a big cast, and also I feel like Rosemary and Susan's character are like kind of similar in certain senses. You know, they're both blonde, they both like hold themselves in a certain way. So I really wanted to make sure Rosemary came off with like more aggression, and it was a little bit more obvious to being the mean girl. Susan's way better at playing off that she isn't. So yeah.
What do you think was like the biggest challenge playing this character?
I didn't like being mean to my castmates. That was I
Everybody
hated
says
that.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the worst. I just like there's one where we got to like kind of pretend like we're friends. That was the best day. I loved it. All of us loved getting to pretend to be friends for a day, but um yeah, but I don't know. We have fun with it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What was your favorite part of filming the series? Is it the acting, the singing, or the dancing? What did you look most forward to on set?
I'd have to say, I mean, I loved the acting, obviously. Also because this was my first biggest break that I've had. So I was really excited just to like dive into a role for so long. But the dancing was pretty incredible. Working with Jamal Sims is like he is someone that so many dancers dream of working with, and the numbers in the show are so good. It's like a beautiful combination between the like 1950 styles with 2023, and it's just like yeah, really look forward to the musical theater, the
Mhm.
numbers day. Yeah,
You mentioned 50s. How did it feel to jump into that world now?
it was cool. It really felt like I was in the 1950s for like 7 months. Wearing the clothes, the cars, everything. It's very colorful, and it's very kind of has this like happy glow to it. Although I know that the 50s there were so many things that were wrong with it at the same time. So
Yeah.
it was really interesting, and doing some research on what it was like to be a teen in the 50s. There's a lot of instructional videos on how to be popular
Yeah.
in the 50s in high school, and it was so interesting watching all of that, and just making sure that I'm not like coming off like, oh my god, I like slay and doing things in the background.
When I spoke to the cast last week, one of the questions I asked them was like, what episode were they looking forward to for the viewers to see? And everybody kept saying episode 8. Is there a specific episode that you can't wait for the viewers to watch?
Yeah, eight's a good one. Eight. I'm also really excited for people to see five. Five is a really strong episode. I mean, it's right smack in the middle. And yeah, I think a lot of beautiful things happen in five. That like you've been like you like earn it by
Hmm.
five, from 1 to 5. I don't want to give away too much, so I don't want to
Right,
like
right.
say exactly why. Five is
Did you
my favorite.
did you keep anything off set from the set?
Um, did I take anything? I don't think so. Oh, what? No, I didn't take any costumes because costumes were very expensive, and like we're 70 years old, so that would
Hmm.
be incriminating, I think, if I took them. I think I took a pair of slides that wardrobe lends you that had my name on them. But no, I didn't have the guts to steal anything. I feel like maybe some of the other cast did.
So, speaking of the cast, was there anybody that you worked with on the cast that you really enjoyed with? And if we see a season 2, do you hope you get more scenes with another cast member that you're gonna get a chance to work with?
I really love working with Josette Halpert. She plays Dot on the show. I learned so much from her. She's been acting since she was like a little kid, and she made very strong choices on set and was such a scene stealer. And so I really loved working with her. I obviously had a lot of scenes with her though, because she's also a Soch.
Yeah.
Um, in the for season 2, I'd love to have more scenes with Nancy.
Okay.
I think that Rosemary and Nancy have somewhat of a similarity to them, in how intense and protective they are and how fierce they are. And I think it'd be really interesting to see those two head on. Yeah. So
April 6th, the series premieres. What's next for you? Any other projects you'd like to tell us about that you're about to work on or coming out?
I there's a lot of exciting productions coming to Vancouver coming up. So looking forward to that, auditioning tons, and honestly just like really hoping for a season two. Because I know if as soon as we get greenlit for that, that'll be going into prep right away. So
Sorry.
yeah.
Charlotte, how can now the listeners and viewers find you on social media, keep up with you, and hopefully for news on season 2?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at it is Charlotte Kavanagh, and I'm also on TikTok at Charlotte S Cav, and that's Kavanagh with a K.
Awesome. Charlotte, I want to thank you for giving me a minute. This was great. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.